to Brandon Sports, everybody. Hope you have an amazing day. I'm here to give you guys my Monday Night Raw review for April 13th, 2026. Before we get to you guys, please hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more great content headed your way. Now, my overall thoughts about this show tonight was this show was okay. It was a C-. I'm not going to really go on a huge rant. There were some dead spots within this show that I think it was a great go-home show. Absolutely not. Was it a terrible F- show? No. Were there some things that they could have improved on throughout this show? Yes. But it was a C-. I'm not going to really go in too much, even though it is the go-home show to WrestleMania, but we know what this booking has been lately. I knew nothing was going to change. I knew that even if it was the go-home show of Monday Night Raw, that it was somehow going to be a C-. I'm going to tell you exactly when I knew that this show was not going to be good, or just I knew it was going to be mid, basically. So tonight's Monday Night Raw was live from the Golden One Center in Sacramento, California. You had the Beast Incarnate Brock Lesnar and the ruler Oba Femi will appear tonight. We had WWE World Heavyweight Champion, the Best of World CM Punk, and the OTC Roman Reigns appearing. We had the Ring General GUNTHER and Seth Freakin Rollins will appear. By the way, I hope they just take the Freakin out of his middle name. That kind of defeats the purpose, just to be Seth Rollins. So the show opened up tonight with Roman Reigns cutting a promo on CM Punk. Roman Reigns says you should have enjoyed your time and enjoyed your relevance. Roman says, when he won the Royal Rumble, what did you do? Roman says that you lied. Roman then says you tried to revise history. Roman then says his fan base lived through all of it, and all you did was expose yourself as a hypocrite. Roman then says, what did he say? Roman then says, embarrassing. Roman then says he liked Pat, but he never had a punter run his mouth to him. Roman then says, nobody believes you. Roman then says, this isn't 2012. Roman then says, they trust him. His fans basically trust him now. Throughout this promo, they were playing video packages of CM Punk being in the Shield and just everything else that was basically going on between that time of CM Punk leaving. And the company treating me like dog crap. And then it showed him as WWE Champion. So basically everything that he said when Roman Reigns wasn't there, Roman Reigns responded with video package in this vignette backstage. Roman then says he will give you one more opportunity tonight to tell the truth. Roman then says you will tell the truth, or basically he will tell the truth tonight. Now this promo right here is going to set up for what happens in the main event, and I'm going to tell you why my frustrations with that, but that'll come later. But this opening segment of the show, for me, it was kind of up and down. Although you say it was a hypocrite, a lot of things that fans really know from what happened back then, CM Punk was treated like a dog. So you can't say, well, he's lying just because he held the WWE Championship. So that didn't make sense. A lot of people are going to say, oh, this was great. Yeah, the promo and the setting was good. Of course it was good. It's Roman Reigns. He can cut a promo. He can get in a seat and sit back there. And they could basically put on vignettes and different things like that. But a lot of the stuff that he said in this promo was, you are lying about being treated like a dog. No, he wasn't. He was literally treated, even though he was world champion. You got to remember, The Rock came in. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what they should have used in their story. The Rock came in when CM Punk was champion and took the belt off of CM Punk so that he could face John Cena again at WrestleMania. After WrestleMania 28, if you guys remember WrestleMania 29 in 2013, people have to understand and realize that when that WrestleMania happened, CM Punk was supposed to be WWE Champion before The Rock came back. Remember, John Cena versus The Rock was supposed to be once in a lifetime, and we were never going to see it again. And John Cena was supposed to go over, but it switched. And then you had The Rock come in and take the championship off of CM Punk. CM Punk's moment was supposed to be at WrestleMania with the WWE Championship going into WrestleMania 29. Remember, he faced The Undertaker at WrestleMania 29 in New York. So him saying that, oh, well, you want to treat the dog, well, you took the title off the guy that held it for a long time to a part-time guy who came in and took the title for about 3 pay-per-views and then dropped it at WrestleMania to John Cena. And then after that, he had to lose to Lesnar and do all these different things that Vince McMahon promised him. So yes, Vince McMahon was treating him like crap. You had part-timers coming in and basically beating him. After he dropped title to The Rock, then he faced Undertaker at WrestleMania. And there was no way he was beating the streak, but he lost to Undertaker. Then I think after that, he continuously kept losing. Then he came into the Royal Rumble. That's when he basically had enough. So if you look at it, CM Punk was not lying about being treated like a dog by a weird old man. That's what happened. Yes, he had a long title reign, but we have to take that into account. Now, everything else in this promo was saying that he basically brought you here, and I never needed help in my life, and they brought the Shield in, which is like, that was how you guys got ushered on TV. So you say, I don't need help. I don't need a wise man to do such and such. I thought it was kind of up and down. Some points were spot on, but the one point that was kind of like trying to say that he was a hypocrite from was the fact that he wasn't treated like dog crap. And that's when I was like, okay, you can't really say that. But was it a good opening to the show? Yes. As soon as you see Monday Night Raw, you see Roman Reigns, you're going to be glued to the TV. So I thought it was a good opening. It was just some of the lines in his promo were a bit up and down. So after that happens, Michael Cole then welcomes to the show, and he narrates the arrival of CM Punk. Now, as soon as CM Punk is shown on the screen, right after that happens, CM Punk is shown on the screen, and there's a lot of cheering, but there's also a lot of booing. It was a mixed reaction, more so of cheering, but a little bit more booing. Michael Cole then welcomes to the show again. CM Punk shows arrival. CM Punk, Stephanie Valkyria, she looked amazing, by the way. Charlotte Flair, Bliss, Gunther. Colden says nearly 12,000 fans in attendance tonight. We then take a look back at the contract signing between Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi. After that, we then see Triple H, Paul Levesque, Triple H, in the ring, and General Manager Adam Pearce in the ring, and we're going to find out what will happen before Sunday opening match takes place. Adam Pearce then welcomes everyone to Raw. He then says to make sure this match makes it to WrestleMania, Oba and Brock Lesnar will sign the contract separately. Paul then makes his way out. Heyman says Adam is correct that the signing will take place separately, because no one has to get close to Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar music then hits, and he makes their way down to the ring. Now, when Brock Lesnar comes out, he gets a huge pop from the crowd. Even though Paul Heyman says Brock Lesnar, he points out the entrance ramp. But as soon as his music goes off, he gets a huge pop. Now, he gets booed for the rest of the time, but he still gets it and commands a huge pop. Even though a lot of people don't like Brock Lesnar, I like Brock Lesnar, but he still gets a huge pop on these shows, and that's something to pay attention to. Now, the one thing before we get to the rest of this was, I'm thinking to myself, the fact that Oba Femi has gotten the best of Brock Lesnar each and every single time, it worries me a little bit going into WrestleMania. And the reason why it worries me is because it's like, Oba Femi getting the best of Brock Lesnar every single time during their brawls, pull-apart brawls, the contract signed last week, him basically hitting a pop-up powerbomb on Brock Lesnar. It's like it just seems like Oba Femi got too much of Brock, and then a couple of days before WrestleMania, Brock Lesnar doesn't lay him out. So does that mean that Brock Lesnar is going to beat Oba Femi at WrestleMania? That's the intriguing part. Now, should he? No. I think he should put Oba Femi over, unless they're going to move this into SummerSlam if Brock Lesnar leaves. But if I'm Brock Lesnar, put him over. I don't think Brock Lesnar will retire at SummerSlam in Minnesota, because Saudi Arabia is having WrestleMania 43. And I know they're going to want Brock Lesnar as a special attraction over there. He's probably going to get paid a lot of money. So I don't know if he's going to retire yet. And obviously, I wouldn't do it, because you would still have him versus Gunther. And then you could still have him versus Braun Breaker. That's a match that people want. And you could do Brock Lesnar versus Jacob Fatu, if you actually do that right. So I don't know if Brock's going to retire. It does seem like he might win at WrestleMania just because of the way Oba Femi has been getting the one-up on him this entire time. We'll see what happens. So Brock Lesnar makes his way down to the ring. He signs the contract. Brock gives it back to Adam Pearce, and they shake Triple H and Adam Pearce's hand. Heyman then says it might as well be a Nigerian death warrant. Heyman then says he is glad that Brock then takes the microphone from him and says that you will not know his name after this weekend, and gives the microphone back to Paul Heyman. Heyman says this Sunday in the real main event of WrestleMania, because this show is opening night too, by the way. Here is something that is not a prediction but a spoiler. Heyman then says there will be a winner and there will be a loser. Heyman then says the loser's name is Oba Femi. Heyman then says to go balls deep into the rumors that Brock can't win this, he will be the winner of this match, Brock Lesnar, and they basically walk out of the ring, and that was that. Now, again, this was a simple segment. Paul Heyman comes out, Brock Lesnar has a contract, he speaks, and that's pretty much it. It's the same thing every single week that Paul Heyman does. I would have truly loved for Brock Lesnar to just cut a promo. I don't give a damn if it's, off the cuff, off the leash. I don't care. If he's cursing too much, who cares? It gets tiring hearing Paul Heyman over and over and over again. It's like, let Brock speak. He's not the greatest promo. He's not. But if Brock Lesnar is really amped up and he's mad that Oba Femi is getting the best of him, I want him to speak. I want the guy who's angry to speak, not the manager who's angry for the client. When all the manager does is speak, I know it's, in the real world, you let your representation speak for you and you don't say anything because they're defending your interest. But this is wrestling. It's a script. You can write it how you want to write it. And to me, Brock Lesnar needs to talk a little bit more. He's not a great promo, but if he's out there speaking to the audience and letting them know how pissed off he is, let him talk. He doesn't talk every single week, but it'll be nice to see him say why he's going to kick Oba Femi's ass instead of letting it be Paul Heyman. That's all I'm saying. It wasn't a bad segment. It wasn't a great segment. It was decent. So far to the show was a decent segment. We then take a look back at what transpired with IShowSpeed as of late. We then see Speed training with Logan Paul and Austin Theory. Speed says he isn't a wrestler. Logan then says it doesn't matter if he's a wrestler. And the way he said it, I'm like, this guy just oversells every single thing. Logan then says he is a phenom and it's time to lock in. Austin then says the Usos aren't tag champs because of you. Austin Theory then says you punched LA Knight with brass knuckles. Austin then says everyone hates you but them. The 6-man tag team match will be the first match on Saturday night. This match is opening the show, and I don't know why this match is opening the show. It should not be opening the show. As a matter of fact, I would actually have the women open up WrestleMania, letting it be Liv Morgan or a Stephanie Valkyria or maybe even a Rhea Ripley again. I don't know why they're putting that match on in night 2. It should be night 1 and opening the show. This match is not big enough to open a WrestleMania. No disrespect to Usos and LA Knight. They get a good pop. But realistically, from a marketing standpoint, Rhea Ripley is super over. Everybody loves Rhea Ripley. You should let that match start off and kick off the night when she's one of the most popular women in the company. Because we all know Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi is not going to start off night 1. We all know that Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton is the main event. CM Punk and Roman Reigns is the main event. Who better else to open WrestleMania than Rhea Ripley? And if you believe in Rhea Ripley that she's going to bring Jade Cargill to a great match, then you open the show with Rhea Ripley like you did with her before. Again, this match is not great enough to open a WrestleMania. It's not. And if anybody argues that, put it in the comment section. Let me know why. Because it's IShowSpeed and the viewership and him being on ESPN. Let me tell you something, man. Certain sports fans, some people are fans of IShowSpeed. I think he's doing a great job with his streams. That's fine. But when it comes to wrestling, it's about wrestling, man. It's about storylines and it's about wrestling. And him being on ESPN opening the show ain't it. When you bring a presentation of Rhea Ripley on ESPN, that's going to draw the eyeballs. Not IShowSpeed wrestling in a WrestleMania match and a celebrity match. No. I'm sorry. I like IShowSpeed. I have nothing against him. This is not it for me. Charlotte Flair then makes her way down to the ring for the first match of the night with Bliss, and Lyra Valkyria follows with Bayley. So right now we get Bliss and Bayley bringing their partners down to the ring, but it's basically Charlotte Flair versus Lyra Valkyria. Now throughout this entire match, this is a really good match between both of these ladies. Some spots where it look kind of, again, it looks choreographed too much, and that's the one thing I don't like about women's wrestling is that sometimes it seems like they get confused in there. And yes, it happens with the men too. I'm not just picking on the women, but it does happen with the men. It looks kind of choreographed, so it looked like certain spots they didn't know where they were going. Okay, duck here, you do this. It looks just too, not even choreographed, it looks too robotic. Like they know what they're doing. They're veterans, obviously, but it just looks too robotic. That's all I'm saying. Now, the ending of this match was you saw Charlotte Flair throw Lyra Valkyria out the ring and basically land on Bayley. She throws her back into the ring. After that, Charlotte Flair goes for a roll-up, but then after that, Bayley pushes her leg and sweeps her leg, so then Lyra Valkyria can roll her up, reversing the fall, and then she gets to 1, 2, 3. So the winner of the match is Lyra Valkyria. And the one thing I look at during this match that I actually saw on Friday's SmackDown, when Bliss was basically, do you guys remember when Lyra Valkyria did that stupid those 2 kicks that she spent around on her shoes? When she did that, I was like, okay, I'm off of this girl. I'm done. That was the most cringiest thing that you could see somebody do. And when she did that and she, basically clicked her heels and just did a little spin around, I was like, I'm out. Ever since that horrible match that she had with Becky Lynch at SummerSlam, no disrespect, it wasn't great. I don't really believe in Lyra Valkyria no more. Even her and Bayley being together doesn't really do nothing for me. I truly don't like this pairing at all. They got rid of the storyline when Bayley's supposed to be having mixed personalities. They did a lot. They've ruined a lot between the both of them in this story. Bayley's supposed to have a great storyline that her personalities and the way Lyra treated her and she didn't want to speak to her, but now they're just kumbaya and we dropped the entire storyline. I don't understand what was that about. I still complain about it every single week because you're dropping storylines that could have been potentially good for a tag team. I hope after WrestleMania, hopefully Nikki Bella is cleared to get in the ring. If she is cleared, I hope that they win the titles, the Bella Twins win the championships, because of everything they've done for the women's division, putting it on mainstream television with Total Divas and everything else. I hope they win. I hope Nikki Bella is cleared. I hope they Bella Twins win. Let them get their WrestleMania moment and let them be tag team champions basically up until SummerSlam, and then you could just say goodbye after that. Other than that, it is what it is with this division. I'm pretty much over the women's tag team division as a whole. I think the women's IC title and the women's United States Championship needs more appreciation. If I'm the WWE, after this, you can keep the belts, but the main focus needs to be the world title divisions and the mid-card division. It seems like the tag team division is getting more shine than the women's United States Championship And that's not cool when you just introduce the championship but you want to actually make it and you're not doing anything with it. And there was one thing that happened in this match too. After the match, Charlotte Flair and Bliss are basically shoving Bayley and Valkyria back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I'm like, man, what are we doing? It's like a cat fight out there. Like, they just pushing each other back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I'm like, and they just leave the ring. So I'm like, man, what are we doing? We have to get through this. And the one thing that really is, I guess you could say, was not repetitive was Nia Jax and Lash Legend are the champions. And they were not on SmackDown, and they weren't on Raw. If my memory served correctly about SmackDown when they didn't interfere. Maybe it was the end of the match that they came out. But other than that, I don't see them. I know they were on Raw last week, but what about SmackDown? Nothing. What about Raw today? I don't know. Again, put the belts on the Bella Twins and let's just get this over with. I don't really believe in Valkyria no more. After the match, again, Flair and Bliss get into the faces, Bayley faces. I didn't really care about this, to be honest with you guys, but it came on. And by the way, this match came on at 8:16, and when this match came on at 8:16, I said to myself, Self, we're in for a long hour and a half after. And we were. So after that, we then see the Usos and LA Knight in the back when they meet by Solo Sikoa and MFTs. Now, my reaction to Solo Sikoa and MFTs is that I like Solo Sikoa. But the problem is that we already get enough of them on SmackDown. Multiple segments tonight against the YS6. We don't care then. Why do we care now to see the MFT? I don't want to see them on Raw. This is how you know Raw. Like, where was Becky Lynch tonight? She's on WrestleMania. This is supposed to be an important match. Where's Becky Lynch? Where was Becky Lynch today? There was a promo by AJ Lee, but where is the actual talent? When it's a WrestleMania go-home show, the actual talent need to be on the show. There is no reason why that the MFTs need to be on Raw tonight. There was no reason at all. So Sol Sikoa and MFTs come up. Sol then says he has a lot to deal with. Basically on SmackDown with the Wyatts and Jacob and all stuff like that. Sol then says Tonga isn't here tonight, which he should be here, but he was not with them. Sol then says you make the family look bad on Raw, hanging out with this clown talking about LA Knight. LA Knight then gives him a challenge. Jimmy Uso then says is there a problem? LA Knight then suggests that they have a challenge on a 6-man tag team match to get warmed up for WrestleMania. And I'm going to tell you one thing too. Logan Paul and Austin Theory weren't on the show tonight either. They did that stupid vignette with iShowSpeed training during the week. That match is supposed to open WrestleMania, but those two guys, your World Tag Team Champions that are opening the show, are not on Monday Night Raw. The only thing that they showed was speed training. Where's the story? And this is my problem. What's the story between these tag teams? This is the problem I had throughout the entire night. Why is the NFTs on the show? What's the story? Where's Logan Paul and Austin Theory for the show to get heat on them? To come out after the match. You could say it's the same thing, but at least they're there. They weren't even on the show. What sense in the world does that make to have people from SmackDown come on Raw and take up time from the actual talent that's supposed to be on the show? This made no sense. So now we get in a 6-man tag team match for absolutely no reason. After that, WWE Intercontinental Champion Penta makes his way out and says hello to the people of Sacramento. And then asks how everyone is doing, but they're not loud enough for him. He then says Sunday they will be in danger. There will be danger. Penta then says there will be pain. Penta then says he knows the pain and he will bring the pain to anyone who faces him. Penta then says this is not just a match, this is war. This was during a commercial break because I didn't see this. After that promo, we then get Stephanie Valkyria music then hits. She makes her way down to the ring. Kathy Kelly mentions how things have become personal, and Liv Morgan hits Stephanie from behind. Now, when Kathy Kelly's in the ring and Stephanie Valkyria is standing there, Liv Morgan hits Stephanie Valkyria and basically pushes her into Kathy Kelly and knocks her over, and she bumps her head, and she's selling it holding her head. Now, I don't know why they did this. Were they trying to recreate the spot that they did last week? I don't know why they did this. This made no sense for Kathy Kelly to take a bump. Unless she's being written off TV, even though she just had surgery or something like that, fine. Even though they should did this before. But I don't know what this was about. I don't know why they did this. Now let's continue. So after she hits her, they're basically brawling. Stephanie then punches back, and officials come out to the ring. The same thing every single week with these officials running into the ring. Especially Jason Jordan and everybody else. So they're basically being pulled apart. Liv then says, let's go right now. Liv then says she knew that Stephanie's mother was trash, but she didn't know that she raised a little bitch. After that, Stephanie then says, why wait until WrestleMania? Stephanie then returns to the ring and they throw more punches. They are even separated, but Stephanie gets away first and attacks Liv. Kathy Kelly is basically help to the back after that pull-apart brawl. So it made it really personal. This brawl was pretty good. Even though we see too many pull-apart brawls, this was good. And Liv Morgan's eyes are still bruised after that hit that she had against Roxanne Perez when they collided and hit when they hit their heads against each other. So her eyes really showed the damage and basically the knot on her head. So this is actually a good segment between them. It gets me more excited just because of the way Stephanie Valkyria's promos have been. They didn't let her cut a promo on live mic, which is good. Her vignettes are actually better in the back, but they did this because when she came out, I'm like, why is she doing this in the ring when she's been doing so good backstage? Well, you found your answer because it was an attack. So this is a really good segment. This is one of the better spots of tonight's show. So after that pull-apart brawl, we didn't see what Rhea Ripley did last week, and this is what I did not like. Again, why are we putting SmackDown on this week's show? SmackDown has 3 hours, ladies and gentlemen, of some of the worst television in history. And we're putting Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. I know she's on Raw, but what are we doing? I don't want to see Jade Cargill on Monday Night Raw. SmackDown is their playground. Does a brand split not matter? Like, what are we doing? I know you complain about everything, but you have to look at it from the standpoint of you're wasting that TV time that could have been allocated to somebody else. And I'm going to tell you why they wasted more TV time in a minute. We didn't see Ripley did last week on SmackDown. After that, we didn't see Jackie Redmond with Io Sky. She says if she has anything to say, Io then says, I lost. And I started laughing because I'm like, the way she said I lost, I'm like, oh, there you go. But she does not mind wrestling for her friend or basically defending her friend. Io then says no one will root for Rhea more than her. Asuka and Kairi Sane show up, and Asuka reminds Io that she came into WrestleMania last year as champion. Now she's Rhea's sidekick, which I brought that up on my SmackDown review. I said to myself, listen guys, on back-to-back WrestleManias, WrestleMania 40, WrestleMania 41, Io Sky had the WWE Women's Championship against Bayley and she lost it. She went into WrestleMania as Women's World Champion at WrestleMania 41 and retained. She walked into back-to-back WrestleManias as champion. The same thing with Gunther. Gunther walked into WrestleMania 40 with the IC title. He should never lost to Sami Zayn, by the way. And after that, he then walked into WrestleMania 41 with the World Heavyweight Championship. And to see where both of them have come to, this is embarrassing for Io Sky. And if I'm Io Sky, I'm mad that right now, as of right now, which is still waiting for Nikki Bella to be cleared, because if she's not cleared, then they're going to put the Kabuki Warriors in that women's fatal 4-way at WrestleMania. But if I'm Io Sky, I'm mad. Where's my match? The same thing with Damian Priest. Where's Damian Priest at WrestleMania? He went from winning the world title in Philadelphia at WrestleMania 40 and a Las Vegas street fight, Sin City street fight at WrestleMania 41 to not even being on the card at 42. If I'm Damian Priest, I'm mad. If I'm Tiffany Stratton, there's no match announced. I'm mad. What's going on? I understand Tiffany Stratton was out, so maybe she's the lone one, but if I'm Damian Priest, I'm upset. If I'm Io Sky, I'm upset. If I'm Asuka, I'm upset. Because of right now, she's not on WrestleMania either. So after that, Io then says Kairi, she doesn't have to listen to Asuka. Asuka then says Kairi will prove herself against Io Sky tonight. Asuka then tells Kairi she is a good girl and she's leading her away like a good pet. That's exactly what she did too. But this right here has me confused too. Why do you care all of a sudden about Kairi when you were beating her and pinning her for the women's tag team titles when you were teaming with Rhea Ripley? That's the part that doesn't make sense to me. Is that all of a sudden now you care. You cared back then, but you didn't care enough not to beat her ass and take her titles. But now all of a sudden you care because you're not teaming with Rhea Ripley. You guys are not a tag team anymore, even though you're defending her. I just don't get what's the point of this. What is the point? After that, then the Usos make their way down to the ring for the next match of the night, and LA Knight follows. The MFTs make their way down to the ring. At the end of this match, Tonga comes through the crowd, and Sol Sikoa is looking at him talking about, hey man, where you been? Where you been? And Hikuleo, Tonga, I'm not calling him that. I always call him Hikuleo, is standing there. He basically starts to puff up his chest. And he's standing there. And as he's standing there, Tonga Loa is in the ring. And LA Knight hits a BFT for the win and pins him 1-2-3. So he basically wins the match. So basically, Tonga cost the MFTs the match. So this storyline is basically going down with Tonga going out on his own. Now, do I think Tonga should be doing this? No. And here's why. Because what is Tonga Loa going to do without Tonga being in a tag team? At least if you're going to do that, have Tangaloa go in, Tama Tonga and Tangaloa, and have them be a tag team and win tag team titles if you're going to separate them from NFTs and have them just be their own group. You see how you're leaving people behind? You're trying to do one story with a guy breaking out, but you're going to leave the other guy behind to do nothing. So what happens now? Hikuleo and JC Mateo, no disrespect to them, I'm glad they're getting a paycheck, but they don't fit in the bloodline. Well, Hikuleo does, but JC Mateo doesn't fit here. He just doesn't fit here. No disrespect. So we'll see him. We'll probably see on SmackDown what this has to do. Do I really care about the MFTs? No. Do I like Solo Sikoa? Yes. Do I like Tama Tonga and Tagaloa as a tag team? Yes. Hikuleo, he's just too big to put anybody over and just to be wrestling in the ring. And again, JC Mateo, Jeff Cobb, who's great on independence, he hasn't really done anything on the main roster. It is what it is. The winners of the match was basically the Usos and LA Knight. Yeah. After that, Tama Tonga, Hikuleo looks at Tama Tonga. Then we get Michael Cole that mentions that Kathy Kelly will be okay, which I don't understand why we're getting an update on Kathy Kelly. No disrespect to Kathy Kelly, but it is what it is. We then take a look back at Pat McAfee, and you can see just Corey Graves just roll his eyes on commentary. That was absolutely great. I actually like that, because I'm like, hey, that's how everybody feels about Pat McAfee and being involved in the storyline because of Ari Emanuel. After that, Gunther's music hits. He makes his way out down to the ring. Seth Rollins just shows up out of nowhere and hits a double leg takedown and then punches Gunther. Gunther then goes to the floor. Seth says 2 weeks in a row you jumped him. Seth then says this is a receipt. Which, by the way, when you say this is a receipt, you got to start explaining, because a lot of people, casual fans who might be tuning into wrestling who don't know what a receipt is. So they need to explain it or stop saying it all along. Now, I know what a receipt is, but have to start saying it. A receipt is basically, I'm coming to get you back for what you did to me. But sometimes a receipt was basically defined back in the day as, if you punch me hard, you're going to get a receipt back. And I'm going to punch you, and this punch is real. Unlike it's supposed to be scripted, it is real. So they have to stop saying receipt if they're not meaning it in a real way. Stop saying it just for television and try to break the fourth wall, because it's not working. I understand what it is, but kids understand what a receipt is. They don't. Seth then says at WrestleMania he finishes the job, which, again, I don't know what job this is when this just started for 2 weeks. You finished the job of the Vision. He's not a part of the Vision. This didn't make any sense at all. Seth then said this is personal to you and not about kissing Paul Heyman's ass. Be a man and walk back to this ring and tell him why you want to fight him at WrestleMania. So Gunther gets the microphone, he gets in the ring, and they basically go face to face and are hitting each other with their heads. Gunther then walks into the ring and he takes the mic. He gets in Seth's face and says he is solving Heyman's problems because you are really pissing him off. Gunther then says for years you strut around here like you are the best in the ring. Gunther says you are not. He is. Gunther says if you are honest to yourself, you never wanted to find out. Gunther then says instead of seeking out the highest competition, you are a useful idiot for Paul Heyman. Gunther then says it is personal to expose Seth Rollins can't lace his boots. Gunther then pushes Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins pushes Gunther. They basically start throwing fists at each other. Gunther then hits a knee and goes for a powerbomb, but Seth escapes. Seth then hits a boot to send Gunther to the floor. Seth then tries for a blackout on the ring step, but he misses and Gunther runs into the crowd. Now, my thoughts about that segment in particular was, you're now getting mad about him at this? Like, what are we doing? Like, I get it. They only have 2 weeks, but this is their fault for waiting for so long. This is their fault. You can't sit up and say, well, they only had 2 weeks to book it. They waited too long. There was 2 weeks when Gunther wasn't even on TV. He's attacked Seth Rollins 2 weeks in a row, right? And then prior to those 2 weeks, he wasn't on television. Seth Rollins should win that WrestleMania, in my opinion. However, if Braun Breaker costs him the match, then you have Gunther win. Other than that, I'm having Seth Rollins win. No disrespect to Gunther, and he's great. I'm not disrespecting him at all. I want to see Gunther continuously rise up. But the way that they've dumbed him down since John Cena retired, John Cena and AJ Styles, by the way, which seems like a distant memory ago, I don't understand what they're doing with him. They're trying to reestablish somebody who don't need to be reestablished. What are we doing? He says you shut around as if you can't lace his boots. Well, no disrespect to Gunther, Seth Rollins can lace your boots. Because when it comes down to who's better in the ring all time, we're all going to say Seth Rollins. We're never going to say Gunther. We are never, ever in a million years going to say Gunther is a better professional wrestler than Seth Rollins. We're never going to say that. I don't give a damn if Gunther wins 17 world titles. We're never going to say in the ring that he is a better wrestler than Seth Rollins. Nobody's ever going to say that about Gunther. They're not. After that, we did see a little promo about the Demon Finn Balor returning, which I had a problem with this too. Why would you tease this? Why would you announce it? You should have just left it alone as a surprise and let Dominic be shocked at WrestleMania. The shock value of the Demon returning versus announcing it, it's not going to sell extra tickets, and I don't know why they did this. This is another mistake that this company does. They announce stuff too early. Stop it. They announce stuff too early or they do it too late. Enough. Take a chill pill and breathe. Stop announcing stuff too early. This should have been a surprise, and this should have been for the IC title. But you put it on Penta and messed up this entire storyline. Do I care about it? No. Guess who also was on the show tonight? Finn Balor. This is supposed to be an important story. This is supposed to be years of frustration since they kicked Damian Priest out. This is supposed to be a whole big plan of Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez and, oh, are you going to feel some type of way? And then, well, we didn't get back to the conversation because Stephanie Valkyria bumped me in my head and we guys clouded heads. Where's Raquel Rodriguez? They've been pushing her this entire time. Where is she? Where was Roxanne Perez tonight? Where was the Judgment Day in the back? Where were they? I'm talking about on main. I'm not talking about on commercial for Netflix. I'm talking about on the main show. Where were they to be found? Come on, man. This is writing. This is laziness. This show was just filled with lazy spots. Laziness by the writing team. And nobody's going to call this out. It was lazy. You tell the fans that the Demon's coming back. Why? WrestleMania was overpriced. It's not going to push tickets for an overpriced show. It's not. That should have been a surprise, and this should have been for the IC title because now you could tell a story where Dominic Mysterio did not know that this was coming. He has the IC title, and he loses it. Why? Because he's flustered that the Demon has finally risen again. How simple is it that you kick me out of Judgment Day, I bring back my alter ego to destroy you and take something that you desperately love, which is the IC title, but instead you guys take the belt off of Dominic and then it's just, well, he's the AAA Mega Champion, so it is what it is. Again, we don't care about AAA. It's no disrespect AAA, by the way. We just don't care. We then see Dominic Mysterio talking to Adam Pearce about giving his dad a shot at his title, and now he has to face the Demon. He says, I shouldn't have to face the Demon. On the contract, it says I face Finn Balor. Dominic then says Finn said the Demon was dead. Dominic then says the contract says was to face Finn Balor, so that the match should be canceled. Pearce then says Rey Mysterio deserves the match. Dominic says no, he didn't. Pearce then tells Dominic to stare at the person looking back at him in the mirror. It then says Rey is getting what he deserves, and he says Dominic is getting what he deserves as he is facing the Demon at WrestleMania. I still don't think they should announce it. Anyway, after that, Io Sky makes her way down to the ring for the next match of the night, and Asuka and Kairi Sane follow. During this match, Io Sky and Kairi Sane are basically wrestling a good match. Now, at one part, Asuka was basically hanging from the rope. Io was hanging from the rope. And Asuka came in and took her head and smashed it into the ring post. Got back in the ring. After that happens, we then see Kairi Sane knocks Io off the top rope. And then after that, Asuka interferes and tries to hit Io again. After that, Rhea Ripley's music then hits. She headbutts Asuka and sets up for a Riptide until Jade Cargill then runs up behind her and hits her. Io then hits a suicide dive to Jade, and Asuka says something to Io. Io then hits a kick from the apron and she goes up top, but Asuka drops Io again on the turnbuckles. Zayn then gets the roll-up win. They basically pinned, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, they pinned Asuka 5 days before WrestleMania. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say it one more time. They pinned Asuka 5 days before WrestleMania. I'm sorry, Io Sky. I apologize. That's how flustered I am. They pinned Io Sky 5 days before WrestleMania. She's getting no WrestleMania match, and this is a crime shame. Which I'm glad Kairi Sane finally got a win, but over Io Sky, it's like, what's the point? But I do get it now. Jade Cargill coming out here and just hitting Rhea Ripley, and she had heels on, so she couldn't even move around. And I'm sitting there just rolling my eyes like, man, can we just get this over with? Why is Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley on Raw? I already ranted before that, but why are they on Raw? This makes absolutely no sense for them to be on this show. You have SmackDown, which is 3 hours. So Kairi Sane wins that match. The winner of the match is Kairi Sane. Good for her. She won the match. It is what it is. We then take a look at the women's championship match between AJ Lee and Becky Lynch. We then see Oba Femi walking in the backstage area. Danhausen makes that way out to basically throw out t-shirts. It is what it is. Paul Levesque, Triple H, and Adam Pearce make their way down to the ring to facilitate a second part of the contract signing. Pearce said it's time for the second signature To make this official, Oba Femi then signs the contract and gives it back to Pierce. Oba then is handed the microphone and Triple H points to the aisle to show Oba Femi that Paul Heyman is back out. Yes, Brock Lesnar is gone, which I don't know why they did this. And by the way, Corey Graves said on commentary, he said that something might happen later on tonight between them. I don't trust it. Just for them to come out here, and what I'm getting ready to read, I basically spoiled it. We get Paul Heyman to come out first, and I'm going to read it, but we have Paul Heyman come out first, and where's Brock Lesnar? Again, this is lazy writing. Where's Brock Lesnar? We only show him one time. Did he go home already? Does he really not want to be there to make these appearances? How much money are they paying Brock Lesnar to make appearances just to show up for one night and brawl, and that's it? Paul then says he has never seen someone come across to the audience as the biggest star as fast as Oba Femi. Paul then says he knows where he is safe and where he is not. He says, I'm going to stay right here. Paul then says, since you are a violent man, he will stay here. Paul then says, you are the most violent person to come into WWE since Brock Lesnar. After that, Paul Heyman then says, you are the fastest rising star to the top since Brock Lesnar. Paul then says, you are the most impressive athlete, fighter, or combat athlete. Paul then says, on Sunday, it comes to an end and comes crashing down in Suplex City. Paul then says, it comes crashing down with an F5 when you are conquered by Brock Lesnar. Paul then says there is no shame in the loss. Paul then says you are in the real main event of WrestleMania, which the crowd kind of cheered for that the second time, not the first time when it was just Brock Lesnar out there. Paul then says you are conquered, and when you need to rebuild your career, his door is always open to you. Oba Femi is on the microphone. He says it is taking everything for him not to come down the aisle and take you from pillar to post. Oba then says the physical scars will heal. Oba then says if he beats Paul up, the physical scars will heal, but the emotional scars to beat Brock will last forever. Oba then says the only door he needs is already open. Oba then says that door is WrestleMania. He goes on to say you and Brock Lesnar made an open challenge to anyone who did step up. He says, why should you worry because Brock Lesnar's inability to be beat? Oba then says he has 4 weeks to show that he can. These basically past 4 weeks, he's basically showed that he could beat Brock Lesnar. Oba then says it has never been personal. Oba then says this time the business is different. Then he says everyone can feel it. Oba then says it is time to put an end to the beast, and you've been there the whole time. Oba then says you've been a good mouthpiece, but you have never been honest. Oba then says if you were honest, you would tell your client, or you would say that your client is scared of him. Oba then says he will win at WrestleMania and slay the beast. Oba then says he is the one and he has always been the one. Oba then says he is the one and he knows it. Oba then says they know it. Oba then says WrestleMania, you will know it too. This is a good promo for Oba Femi to be on the microphone and basically speak for himself without actually having a mouthpiece. This is a great promo about Oba Femi. That's one of the matches I'm excited for, especially being on night 2, opening the show as Brock Lesnar, Oba Femi. Win or lose, Oba Femi has made himself a huge star. So even if he does lose, which I think he might lose, there might be a 50% chance that he loses, I'm still looking forward to his career. So I think this has been shined him in a good light, especially after the promo that he did cut. He was actually phenomenal with the promo that he cut. Then after that, we had Javon Evans and Dragon Lee make their way down to the ring for the main event of the night, which, again, I don't know why this is the main event. At the end of this match, Dragon Lee did hit the sunset flip for a near fall, but it turns into a style clash for him against JD McDonagh. The winners of this tag team match is the young OG Javon Evans and Dragon Lee, because this match was basically Javon Evans and Dragon Lee versus Rusev and JD McDonagh. I still don't understand why this match even had to be on television. After that, the winners of the tag team match, again, was Javon Evans and Dragon Lee. Now, after the match, Rusev hits a fallaway slam to Lee, followed by a U-Rang. He then sets up for the accolade, but Rey Mysterio music hits. As soon as this happened, backstage, I knew that everybody's going to come out. I knew Rey Mysterio and Penta was going to come out. So Rey Mysterio's music hits. He makes his way down to the ring and sends Rusev into the ropes. Rusev then hits a clothesline to counter the 619. Penta's music hits, which again, then hits, and he kicks Rusev and chops him. Penta then hits a springboard move into a thrust kick. Rusev then catches Evans off the turnbuckles for a Ridge or U-Ring? I don't know what this says. Forgive me for getting it wrong. I don't care. Rusev then hits a thrust kick to JD after he bumps into him. Ray and Penta. Rusev then hits one to Lee and stomps him on the back and applies the accolade, and he leans back in the accolade. Basically, this was to make Rusev look strong. Now here comes my criticism. Why are we making a guy look strong who has not been there or has been on TV in the past couple weeks? Why are we making him look strong? It makes no sense when nobody cares about Rusev since he's been back. Since he came back after last year's WrestleMania, why do we care now? Why do we care? Why are you making him look strong when he hasn't been there this entire time? Come on, y'all. We then see Danhausen with Adam Pearce. He walks in to talk about John Cena. He then says he hopes he can see John Cena. Pearson says he has to call this person back, but Danhausen has left the room. Again, listen, you guys can like Danhausen. I don't really criticize him. It is what it is. Again, he's a new comic act. Fine, I don't care. Roman Reigns' music then hits. He makes his way down to the ring. Roman then plays to the crowd, and he grabs a microphone. Roman then tells the fans to acknowledge him, and they do. CM Punk interrupts the music, makes his way down to the ring, through the crowd. And to be honest, ladies and gentlemen, everybody who was watching, I appreciate you for watching. But this is where I'm starting to get aggravated, and this is where the show really goes downhill. This, Lord have mercy, this promo, I just couldn't get behind it. I couldn't get behind the entire thing. Now, let me set the stage for you guys real quickly here. Roman Reigns comes out at 10:12 Eastern Time. Remember, this show goes off at 10:30. Roman Reigns comes out at 10:12. A commercial break on Netflix has 7 ads. So it's about 3 minutes in total with the ads, right? We get back on television. It's 10:17. Roman Reigns is pointing his ones to the sky and the pyro goes off, right? After that, ladies and gentlemen, CM Punk says, acknowledge me. Sacramento, acknowledge me. CM Punk comes out at 10:18. CM Punk comes through the crowd. CM Punk's, by the time he gets to the ring, it is 10:22 because he came through the crowd. And I'm rolling my eyes during this video. And my eyes look tired because at this point, I'm tired of this. They did this to waste and kill time that they didn't need, but they needed at the same time. It was CM Punk. They were just killing time because they didn't have enough. This was not good to me. People could think that it was good. It was not good, but we're going to get into it. So he says, acknowledge me. CM Punk comes down. He makes his way through the WWE Universe or the crowd. Punk then says, after watching that smear campaign in the cold open, he says that he is here to tell the truth. Because remember, Roman Reigns said, if you don't tell the truth, I am. And none of this makes sense. He says, tell me when I'm telling lies. How is Roman Reigns supposed to know that you're telling a lie or not if it's your truth? I get what he's saying, but it implies that, well, tell me when I'm telling lies about how I feel. I'm supposed to tell you how you're telling lies about how you feel when it's your feelings. So you're not telling a lie. So why even ask me the question? So after he says to watch the smear campaign in the cold open, he says, here's the truth. Punk then says, you can be the jury and executioner. Punk then tells him, tell me when I'm telling lies. Roman then tells Punk if he gets to the ring, they won't need these microphones. Punk then says the truth is that he hates Roman. Punk then says he hates Roman because he envies him. Punk then says this is all he ever wanted. Punk then says it is the only dream he had in his heart since he was a little kid. He then says he envies the fact that it was handed to you. He then says he hates Roman Reigns was champion for 1,360 days. And by the way, can I please just make the distinction? Roman Reigns was WWE Universal Champion for 1,316 days. He was WWE Champion for over 700 and about 30-something days. There is a huge difference between both championships. The Universal title that he held for 1,316 days is retired. They have to start making the difference here. I hate when they do this because it's like you try to treat fans like this as if we're stupid. The Universal title was held for 1,316 days. The WWE Championship was held for over 700 days because he didn't win the title until 2 years later. He lost it 2 years later. So that's my overall point. Distinguish the timeline between both of those belts. Punk says he hates the amount of times Roman Reigns has main event at WrestleMania. CM Punk then says he hates that he feels this way. He then name drops Sikoa and calling him a great wrestler. Punk then says he respects the old timers. CM Punk then says he hates the fact that he invoked his father's name in vain and that he sincerely apologized to Roman Reigns. And then Roman Reigns is basically shaking his head. Punk then says he hates that there is more than one royal family, in professional wrestling, and he hates that he wasn't born into a dynasty. Punk says he was born in the backyards, the avenues, and found his family in the streets. Punk says he hates the fact that he had to share everything with Roman Reigns, let alone his first singles match as a headliner for WrestleMania. Punk says he wasn't handed anything as he had to travel the world and make a name for himself. Punk then says he's going to walk in and walk out of WrestleMania 42 as WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Roman Reigns did tell CM Punk that's probably the truest stuff he's ever said. Basically had to say up until the end of what he said, what CM Punk had just said. Roman then says he hates CM Punk too. Roman then says he hopes when one day, when he leaves, the WWE Universe can change his name. Basically saying that he hates the fact that CM Punk has this loyal fan base, and that he hates that he has that, and he wishes that he has that too. So that WWE Universe changed his name as long as they did for CM Punk, that they cheered for him for basically over 10 years like they did for Punk. Roman then says it ends this Sunday with him becoming WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Roman then promises to fix the mess that CM Punk started. Roman then says CM Punk and the world will acknowledge him when he takes back over. Both men then stare daggers at each other as the show comes to a close. Now again, I told you guys this show was a C-. Did I like this? Did I like this promo to end the show when they're basically standing face to face? No, not really. I mean, they really got out the fact that they hate truth, but there was just so much more to this story. CM Punk not invoking The Rock, and how The Rock basically stole his main event at WrestleMania. That was a story and a hole that they could have basically went down. And saying that your family basically cost me a main event. That's why I don't like you too. Your family got all this privilege and they cost me a main event at WrestleMania 29 when I was supposed to be WWE champion, and he came in and beat me because I had to do the favor or whatever the case may be, break the fourth wall a little bit. I just don't understand why they didn't do that. This WrestleMania build has not been good at all. It was good at the beginning, but it got stale in the middle, and at the end of this, to close the show, you guys have these guys standing face to face with each other, basically ending the show. Did I like it? No. Was it horrible? No. Was it dreadful? No. Was it average and okay? Was it meh? Yeah, it was meh. It wasn't great, it wasn't good, it wasn't horrible, it wasn't terrible, but it was And that's what you don't want the Night 2 main event to be You don't want that. You don't want that at all. Again, this show was a C- for me. I didn't really take anything else to account. Again, this WrestleMania build has not been good, and this show was a C- for me. So let me know how you guys feel about this show in the comment section down below. Please come back to the channel, as I will be giving you guys my WrestleMania 42 match card and predictions. If there's another match added, I'll put in the comment section down below who I think will win that match when that video basically comes out, if there's another match that's added. But let me know in the comment section down below how you guys felt about Monday Night Raw tonight. Did you enjoy the show? Were you disappointed by the main event and the ending of the show? How did you like the show overall? Please let me know in the comment section down below how you guys felt about Monday Night Raw tonight. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like the video, share with your friends and family to help the channel continue to grow. Until next time, guys, see you real soon.